Welcome to Verbal Peak Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome you all to the show. Today we're doing something a little bit different today. I'm sharing a conversation that I had on Facebook with a Mr. Wolf, right? I want to get into most of it. Now, I posted a picture and it states America's skirt has been blown up and everything is being exposed. And it's the picture of a person in the Ku Klux Klan with the skirt of the Klan rising high, but underneath that skirt is the police badge and the police gun, right? So a Mr. Wolf comment was, false entirely. Are you promoting chaos and lawlessness? I said, no. That started when the Klan was formed and was allowed to function till this day. I asked Mr. Wolf, which is a white guy, have you led the fight to dismantle this group? He goes back, Mr. Wolf, and says, the KKK are Democrats, bub. I replied, aggression is necessary. And then I replied, Dems and Republicans, right, are the KKK. He said originally from the South, which at the time was entirely Democrat. And then I said aggression is necessary. He says aggression provoked aggression. I said right, exactly. Meaning that the aggression that you're seeing from black folks was provoked. Was provoked. Black people didn't start none of this. Not at all. And so we want to get into some more. We're going to get into some more. Okay, that was that one. We still on that one. Let me get y'all some more. Just bear with me because still going on. So he was saying not true. I said separation is the key. He said not true in any sense. I said when two people can't get along, it's time to separate. Mr. Wolf says it only requires to be strong men and women. And then that's another thing. Whenever black people say, you know what, we tired of racism, let us pack up and leave. And it's almost like Pharaoh holding the children of Israel back to where Moses has to say, let our people go. They don't want us here, but they don't want us to leave. And that's psychotic. Right. Now, come on. You know, it's ridiculous. I want to just, okay, here we go. We're going to read some more of this and we'll shut it down. This is Mr. Wolf telling me, your message seems to imply that white cops are killing black kids for fun, and your opinion is based on your own implications. Right. I said, no. I'm saying not the ideal of the police force. No. What I'm saying is the ideal of the police force started by catching runaway slaves, and white men was killing black men then behind race, and it hasn't changed. Look at Philandro Castillo was shot and killed, giving a cop his CHL after the cop asked to see it. He reached over to get it, and the white cop shot him. I can go on and on. And as much crime white people commit, why aren't there more killings of white people by cops? Then Marcus Mudd chimed in, and Brother Marcus said, some are definitely killing black children for fun. Look in their faces when they are doing it. The others are murdering for what they deem to be survival. He says this is plainly untrue. This is Mr. Wolf. This is plainly untrue, and there are more shootings of white people than black. Look it up. I said not by police. Look it up. He said he had already had looked it up. So I posted by a research department. It says Sadly, the trend of fatal police shootings in the United States seems to only be increasing, with a total 558 civilians having been shot, 111 of whom were black as of July 29, 2020. In 2018, there were 996 fatal police shootings, and in 2019, this figure increased to 1,004 additionally. The rate of fatal police shootings among black Americans was much higher than that for any other ethnicity, standing at 31 fatal shootings per million of the population as of July 2020. Right? So he goes on and he says, in 2017, 457 whites were shot compared to 223 blacks that were shot. He says in 2019, 399 whites were shot compared to 209 blacks that were shot. He says in 2020, 370 whites were shot compared to 235, and 215 to 111, right? And I said, my response was another article. Because we talking about murder. We're not talking about getting shot in the leg, shot in the arm. Of course, more whites are getting shot than blacks, because more whites are committing crimes. Victims were majority white, 52%, but disproportionately black, 32%, with a fatality rate 2.8 times higher among blacks than whites. Most victims were reported to be armed, 83%. However, and that's the white victims. However, black victims were more likely to be unarmed, 14.8%, than whites, who was 9.4%, or Hispanics, who was 5.8% victims. Fatality rates among military veterans, active duty service members, were 1.4 times greater than among their civilian counterparts. Four case subtypes were examined based on themes that emerged in incident narratives. About 22% of cases were mental health related. 18% were suspected suicide by cop incidents, with white victims more likely than blacks or Hispanics to commit suicide by a cop. I'm talking about the loss of life, not just being shot. Blacks die from a use of extreme lethal force, 14.8% to be unarmed than whites. As you can see, white people is well above 300 per year, and black people well below. And he did not answer the fatalities among black. And we're not out terrorizing. And he's saying we because he wants to align himself as if he had money to be a part of the elite or even the white class, which he don't understand that I understand the terminology in dealing with color. But he don't understand it. Destroying, protesting, jack shit, it is what it is. A few cops are trigger happy, yes, we all know this. Do I think it needs to stop? Hell yeah, but destruction is not the way to convince anybody of anything. Now, we had Martin Luther King march on Washington. Man, they even had a march on Washington today with Al Sharpton. We've been marching on Washington, and that was a catalyst to say, hey, stop. Right? We sit in, hey, stop. We sung the songs, hey, stop. We danced, we tap danced, we threw sand on the floor and danced on the sand to say, okay, hey man, what y'all want us to do, stop. And it still continues. So when it explodes like a powder keg, now all of a sudden, this is not the way. This is not the way. Y'all want anarchy. Because their liberty. See what the fact of the matter is, they feel as though their liberties, their pocketbooks, and their way of life is being threatened. So now the attention has come, and now they want to have dialogue. Now this is Mr. Wolf. Well, unfortunately, in a cop eyes, a black man is more likely to be armed in his neighborhood than a white man in his. This is no proof that the majority of white cops are just out there to kill black people. If I were a cop, I would treat people justly according to the law. But if I were patrolling a black neighborhood, I would be much more alert than if I was patrolling a white neighborhood. That's from Mr. Wolf. That's a white man. I come back and say, I know because you're white. I said, if I was a cop, I would keep my gun at the ready in a white neighborhood. All the school shootings, mass killings, serial killers, etc., land robbing, and so on. Well, you have to admit that black culture strongly expresses a hatred or at least a disdain for the police. The police are very aware of that. What you are talking about is what you see on the news. Every individual, black, white, whatever, needs to stop looking at it from the black-white angle. Obey the law and get their day in court. As long as the black man continues to see himself as a victim, he will always be one. I just want to digress and say this, right? It's been plenty of it's we can go back to the black codes back in Jim Crow when black people were arrested for nothing. We can go back to all the cases where evidence was planted on black people. We can go back to when white women just lied, like in the Emmett Till case, and got black people murdered and tried to say a black man raped her. You know, see, he's not, and I want to say this. He can only give you his statement from the eyes of how he was raised and from the eyes of a white person who could never understand what it's like to be black in America. We, as black people, can come up with every scenario and factual situations that took place, but yet and still, they can't see it. That's why separation is important. They would never feel or see the pain that has been inflicted upon black people by white supremacy. So I tell him, black people are not victims, just tolerant. The first Wall Street was black in Oklahoma, 1921, till whites burnt it down. We should have challenged hatred back then, but we were tolerant. Native Americans were tolerant too, right? And that was the end of it. That was the end of it. After that, there was no more dialogue in dealing with that, right? It just goes to show you all that two people can live in the same society and totally see it a different way. Reason being is because Mr. Wolf hasn't been pulled over and shot. Mr. Wolf hasn't been pulled over and beaten on the side of the road, driving while white. A black cop hasn't got behind Mr. Wolf and put the sirens on and tell him to get out the car, put him in handcuffs, kick him, throw him on the hot pavement till that black top burns his skin. He hasn't been through any of that. He hasn't had drugs planted on him, went to court, and was found guilty. It's easy to sit and say what you do and what people should do and what people shouldn't do when you haven't been and when you haven't experienced it. You know, when you haven't been had a knee on your neck pressed down, right, till the life just leaves your body, right. So out of that privileged position, it's easy for you to say, because what you're really doing is cheering on white supremacy, saying, hey, we got the upper hand, and if y'all comply to our rule and our authority, things will be okay. Get back in line. Niggas, you lost your place. Get back into Christianity. Get back into the yes and no, sir. Sing them songs for us. Hold your head down. Smile when you see white people. Treat us as if we are your gods, and then life will be better for you in America. And black people are saying, bullshit, that'll never happen again. We didn't want to do it the first time, you know. It's just the fact that we wasn't ready to push back. Let's say that. Because what happened was we started to live amongst you. We started to see you other than what we saw on television and said, wow. The media and TV tried to hold white people up as if they were saints. And man, look at all the dirt and look at how filthy some of them are. What the hell is going on? And then the filthy one, the filthiest one from among them would come around with their head in the sky as if they better, and then would try to call somebody the N-word. And we like, you dirty so-and-so, if you don't get your ass away from here with that shit. Hell, y'all fooled us for years. Because we didn't live amongst you, we didn't know how filthy you were. But now we know. It's like, respect you for what? We've been tricked. We see your true colors. Now we see how it was easy for you to murder all the natives in America and take the land. Okay, now we see how it's easy for you in police brutality and kill unarmed men. You know, because that is who you are. And no amount of talking and we shall overcome and marches and whatnot is going to change that fact. Now, watch part of Al Sharpton's march on Washington. What Al, you know, what? Look, black leaders. Let me tell you all something. The East Coast or the North or the Midwest is not the sole, how can I say this? It's not the sole ideology of black people. It's not more intelligent than your brothers in the South. Right? Let's put it like that. Because your brothers in the South has power as well, right? So, in the South, especially around the Bible Belt, you have to be careful with what you present and images that you put out in front of black people, right? In that march, they tried to mesh the LGBTQ community with Black Lives Matter community. But even if you was trying to do that, you don't do it at this critical point in the election time, because what you did was you made the Bible Belt black Christians who sexual preference is heterosexual, that strictly goes by the Bible, say, hey, whoa, I'm not getting involved. I'm not giving my vote to that. That's not what we were taught. That's not what the Bible says. That's not what the Quran says. That's not what the Torah says. And they not going to get involved in it. You know, what you just did was you just stopped and stymied some votes from Biden and Harris and not knowing it because you overlooked the Bible Belt. Man, these hardcore, and then the white hardcore Christians, they definitely, who was on the fence, getting ready to move towards Biden and Harris, you just turned them to Trump without even realizing it. This is still America that was based on the Old Testament as far as their moral beliefs. You know, you have to realize the LGBTQ community is not the majority shared belief. You know, they're still in this truth. They are being discriminated against. Facts. But I'm just simply saying from the point of this upcoming election, you can't merge the two and say they both have the same plight. Let's put it like that. Because what that's going to do is the hardcore black Christian conservatives, they're not touching it. The hardcore white Christian conservatives, you just ran them to Trump. But it is what it is. You know, we got to see, but I'm simply saying at this junction in time, we so close to the election. Who strategized that? What chess move was that? That was you helping Trump. That helped Trump. And I know it's some intelligent people that's among them who knew that you finna steering folks to Trump was trying to combine Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ. And for the simple fact is that one is being judged solely on the melanin content in their skin or their skin color. The other is being judged and disliked due to the lifestyle that they want to live or lead. Right? But if they don't put on the rainbow shirt, or if some men didn't wear women clothes or wigs, or if some women didn't cut their hair to look like a dude and whatnot, nobody could tell who they sexual preference by looking at them. But when it comes to black people, all you gotta do is look. We wear our badge. Now you got gay people who one month they gay, but then the next month they say no, I'm through with that lifestyle. I'm heterosexual again. You know. Then you got some they go back and forth and no one knows, and it's nobody's business. I'm just simply saying when you try to merge the two, there's always going to be some blowback because it's almost impossible to merge the two. And I'm talking about dealing on a scientific level in the sense to fact that you can't look at someone and tell their sexual orientation. You know, unless they either come out and tell you or do something of the culture that's traditionally known to identify with, and then people say, they LGBTQ community. I didn't know, or they see a shirt. Okay, that rainbow sign lets me know. Okay, I got you right. But other than that, you just can't look and say, hey, she's gay. Hey, he's gay. You don't know. Yeah, you can't. Hell, unless you got a camera in their bedroom or something, you don't know what the hell people are. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes to black people, all you gotta do is they go a black person. Can't hide it. Can't take it out. You get what I'm saying? Okay, that's all. And I'm just simply saying that when you merge the two, especially in the South, these hardcore conservative Christians, they not going for it. They like, nah, hell, I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. And if that's what you promoting, let me bag my money and bag my vote right on up out of your movement. I just can't believe they didn't see it, but I don't know. It is what it is. But on Mr. Wolf, I'm simply saying his ideology is solely based on his perception that he has some type of privilege or authority, or he's special because he's white. And he has no idea or no clue that he's being used as a tool to Vote Pick Radio. We're out.